Meanwhile, in quite a surprising act of brazenness that's come to light from Delhi's Thyagraj Stadium, athletes and coaches at the Delhi government-run stadium have complained about being forced to wrap up their training by 7 p.m. itself because the Delhi's Principal Secretary Revenue, Sanjeev, Khirwar's walk with his dog at that facility must not be disturbed. They have also alleged that the stadium was emptied out for the Babu's pet walk. BJP has slammed the government, the Delhi government, demanding strict action in this matter. After the outrage, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has issued an order to the sports department now to keep all the stadiums open until 10 p.m. strictly. Visual of that, of the kind of brazenness and the high-handedness carried out by Delhi Principal Secretary Revenue. On the left-hand side of your screens, you see how both of them are carrying out a nice stroll along with their pet dog on that designated runner's track while they shut off the stadium for athletes who are coaching professionally and only so that they could carry out their evening stroll.
First of all, I would say, that's not good because bureaucrats are backbone of our India. They are well educated, they are well behaved. But if they will do that kind of thing, so I don't think so that's good for our Indian sports. Especially sports person who coming from very humble background and they are doing their training and then suddenly they will stop. They say like somebody's going to walk or with dog or something like that. That's not good, I think. Athletes are they represent their country, they represent their state, they represent their home district. We should look into the matter and then we'll say what is the full picture. I don't know, some people will say कि नहीं साहब ने बोला है इसलिए हमने कर दिया. So might be it's not true, right?
ट्रैक जो या कोई भी मैदान है वो खिलाड़ी और कोचिंग के लिए एक मंदिर की तरह है और जो खिलाड़ी है आपने देखा होगा एंटर करते समय उसको भगवान की तरह आशीर्वाद देते हैं और पैर पुरस्कार के आगे बढ़ते हैं वो. ऐसी जगह में अगर मान लो कोई ट्रैक सूट के अलावा या कोई भी बाहरी या कोई अपने पैर को घुमाता है तो वो एक खिलाड़ियों के लिए, सुनने वालों के लिए बहुत धक्का है, तो उनके आघात को धक्का है और ये चीजें जिस जहाँ पर भी अगर मान लो इंडिविजुअल कोई करता है तो वो एक एनकरेजिंग नहीं है.
This is a sense of elitism and privilege. Why is the Delhi government, which owns the stadium, allowing this by their own Delhi government officer? That question needs to be asked. These infrastructures are being created with thousands of crores so that our athletes can win us laurels on the international stage. Imagine how that athlete must be feeling if a dog, I have nothing against pets, I love dogs, but why should a dog be allowed on an athlete's track? That is sacred for him. There must be action taken, and one must ask that when the stadium is owned by the Delhi government, why is anybody being allowed to break the rules? The Delhi Chief Minister, you cannot desecrate and denigrate our athletes. This message should go out loud and clear.
वहाँ पर स्टेडियम पे, त्यागराज पे शाम के टाइम एथलीट्स को सर क्या किसी ऑफिसर के ट्रेनिंग के मतलब उनके वॉक के लिए एथलीट्स को जल्दी भेजा जा रहा है क्या सर?
नहीं, गलत वो है. 7 बजे तक का ऑफिशियल टाइमिंग है सर. 7 बजे तक का खिलाते हैं बच्चों.
ओके, सो बट ऐसा देखा गया है कि वहाँ पर वो आए हैं और
इससे ज्यादा मैं अप्राइज
नहीं कोई ऑफिशियली आपको कोई टाइमिंग्स दी गई हैं जिसके बाद ही मतलब एथलीट्स को जो है जाने के लिए कहा जाता है?
बिल्कुल सर, टाइमिंग है, सरकार की टाइमिंग है 7 बजे का.
7 बजे तक की. बट आपकी नॉलेज ओके, बट आपकी नॉलेज में
7 का है.
अच्छा, 6:30 से 7 का है कि उसके बाद वो ग्राउंड बंद हो जाएगा और एथलीट्स को जाना होगा, करेक्ट?
कोच चले जाते हैं तो कोच के जाने के बाद थोड़े बच्चे खिलाएंगे साहब.
ओके, ठीक है, फेयर इनफ. आप ये बता सकते हैं कि क्या आपकी जानकारी में है कि वो जो हमारा ट्रेनिंग एरिया है वहाँ पर मिस्टर खैरवाल आते थे अपने? नहीं, मैं
सर से बात कर लीजिएगा. सॉरी.
ये मेरी नज़र में आया था सुबह कि गर्मी बहुत हो गई है जिसकी वजह से स्पोर्ट्समैन जो हैं उनको दिक्कत हो रही है. 6 बजे या 7 बजे बंद हो जाता है तो हमने ऑर्डर जारी कर रहे हैं कि सारी स्पोर्ट्स फैसिलिटीज़ हमारी रात को 10 बजे तक, ताकि शाम होने के बाद भी स्पोर्ट्समैन जो है उसका इस्तेमाल करें.
All right, let me cut across to Amit Bharadwaj, who joins us live for more on that. Amit, give us an understanding. Have we heard from the Principal Secretary? Has an apology come from him? Has any justification come on this brazen high-handedness? And how long has it been going on that he's shutting off training only to take his evening stroll there?
Well, Nabila, I'll just give a sense of things as to how, the entire process at Thyagraj Stadium works and how this IS officer was visiting this particular stadium. So on the other side, you see, I'll request Ankit, our video journalist, to show you the visuals. This is the entry point from where normally any member, remember, you have to be a member of Thyagraj Sports Complex to be able to access the facilities inside the Thyagraj Sports Complex. So any member who visits either in the morning or in the evening has to do the entry right here at the gate. After you do the entry, whatever sports that you are designated for or you are eligible for, you go to use those facilities. And on the other side of the Thyagraj Stadium is the professional running track, the athletic track, as well as the football stadium, where what you see that Delhi government's Principal Secretary for Revenue, Sanjeev Khirwar, was seen in visuals, taking a stroll, taking a walk around 7:30 in the evening. What we have learned from our sources that it is not a story of a single day. This was happening at least for a couple of weeks, that Sanjeev Khirwar would come on and around 7:30 in the evening along with his pet dog, and he would use this professional athletic track in Thyagraj Sports Complex, and on certain days his wife would be also with him, at least in the visual that is out there in public. Now we can see that Mr. Khirwar along with his dog is taking a stroll, a walk on this particular athletic track as if it's a garden or lawn in his house or maybe a park in his neighborhood. But that is not the case. This is an athletic track, a sports complex for professionals. Now you have to be a member in order to access the facility inside Thyagraj Sports Complex. That is the number one condition. Number two condition is that these facilities are available only for sports activities. Now there's a big question whether jogging or taking a stroll or a walk can be considered sports activity. Obviously the answer would be negative. No athletic would agree to this particular argument. So clearly even taking a stroll and taking your pet on this professional athletic track is banned as per the Delhi government's own notifications. Now the question is that if at all Mr. Khirwar was allowed, which is very visible in the visuals, in the video that is in the public domain by now, that if Mr. Khirwar was being allowed to use this facility beyond 7 p.m, why were the athletes not being allowed to use it? Number one. Number two is that in what capacity Mr. Khirwar was using these facilities that is dedicated for the sportsmen, for the athletes. Now what we are seeing is that after the outrage, public outrage and opposition's pressure, there is some sort of movement from the government side itself. Delhi government and Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has already announced that all sports facilities in the national capital will be available for, the athletes and sportsmen up till 10 in the night. So this is happening even though the Chief Minister has not mentioned about this controversy, Thyagraj controversy, but he said that the athletes in the national capital were facing problems due to the summers, and that is the reason that timing of the sports facilities owned by the Delhi government is now being extended, and the sportsmen will be allowed to use these facilities and stadiums till 10 in the night. So that is a big development.
That's a big response coming in from Arvind Kejriwal, undoubtedly. A big report on that, of course, an update that Arvind Kejriwal has decided now to ensure all stadiums run by the AAP government in Delhi will be open until 10 p.m. But he has not spoken anything about his principal secretary violating those norms and showing high-handedness. Thank you very much, Amit, for joining us with those details. I'm cutting across to some breaking news coming in on the Gyanvapi hearing.